Hi, Jim here, and you're listening to the Honest Filmmaker podcast, career advice from people in the business. This week, I'm speaking to filmmaker Mitch Laing. Mitch is the owner of Open Heart Productions in North East Louisiana. His recent micro-budget feature, The Bogman, has been released through Green Apple Entertainment and has amassed over 200,000 views. With a second film already in post-production and 10 films slated to be made in conjunction with Green Apple in the same extended universe, I spoke to Mitch about what it was like to make the film, his experiences with sales and distribution, and also his plans for the future, and why America is so obsessed with Bigfoot. Enjoy. So tell me how you ended up working on films.
I started in the entertainment business, in the music business, like a lot of folks did. I started playing bass in a church band whenever I was like 11 years old, and it was a really bad introduction to music because I was 11, and my first show was like in front of 2,500 people. And I just and we were like in a church tour bus, and like at age 12, I was like touring and had like $500 in my pocket from a show, thinking, man, this music stuff was easy. This was super simple. And turns out I just happened to be lucky, and because I thought, I'll quit, I'll start a rock band, and it'll be just as good. Like it'll be just as many people there, and it didn't work out that way.
So what then moved you into filmmaking out of music?
Well, I've always been a huge fan of movies, like a lot of folks are, and I probably watched Batman, Ghostbusters, Jaws, and the Gremlins, and the Goonies probably on repeat 100 times growing up. And whenever I was 19, I was out of college. I was in a band that was signed. The band broke up. And I was in a weird position because I'm from North East Louisiana, and we don't really have film schools here, and we don't really have a whole lot of anything when it comes to that. There's nothing around when it comes to opportunity like that, and has been like that for years. So whenever I realized that music wasn't going to be my full-time gig, I was like, well, what else do I even care about? And movies was the thing that I was the only other thing besides music that I was just as passionate about. But once again, I had no opportunity. I definitely didn't make the grades to go to college. I definitely couldn't get me any Pell Grants or anything like that. So I started working at a local TV station. That was my first introductory into to film or television or anything like that. Just trying to pick up whatever I could. And I talk to young filmmakers all the time around here. And I tell them all the time, if you want to get into filmmaking, the first thing that you need to learn to do is to write a script. You need to know how to write a story, and you need to know how to tell a story, and you need to know how to make that story interesting. To where people are locked in within the first 20 minutes. And if you can't do that, if you can't write a script, then you might as well not even move forward, because that's the building block of all of this. And so I bought some books and I learned how to write a script. And, you practice by getting reps. And I hammered out 5 scripts back to back. Like I wrote a script, started another one back to back to back. Because it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a cook going into the kitchen for the first time. You're a football player picking up a ball for the first time, or a musician picking up an instrument for the first time. The first thing that you ever do on that is going to suck. You're not going to be good at it. It's going to be really bad. So just get it all out the way. Like, get all the bad stuff. Let's always be making, always be creating, and let's just get your reps in, And that's what I did. And one of those 5 scripts, we did a short film, me and my friends, and it was terrible. And I was shopping around that script to anybody, really. Like, this is like 2006-ish. So the internet, it was there, but it wasn't the all encompassing, the entire knowledge in your pocket that it is now type thing. I didn't even have a phone with the internet until 2012. Like, that's how kind of far back in technology we are, here. I mean, now everything's all cool, but back then I was lucky to have text messaging on my phone. And people used to say, Mitch, why don't you ever text? Like, 'cause I don't have it. I don't have texting on this flip phone. But a buddy of mine was going to college at the local community college, and one of the professors owned his own production company. And he helped in the communications department at that college, the measly communications program that there was. But he was a filmmaker and was serious about it and was trying to really develop that. And he read the script and he liked it, and he said he wanted it. And I said, great, awesome. Cool, real quick, can I direct that thing though? He's like, well, where'd you go to film school at? I'm like, what film school do you think I went to around here, my dude? Where did you go to film school at? He's like, oh, well, I didn't. Okay, all right, so I didn't go to film school. He's like, all right, well, you ever take any classes or read any books on this? I'm like, no. You ever done this before? I'm like, yeah, I made a short film. Well, can I see it? No. Why not? Because it's terrible. So the guy agreed to, he gave me the greatest gift in the world. His name was Professor Jack Dunn. Brian Dunn is what he goes by. He offered me to apprentice under him and his film company for 6 months. And in that 6 months, he had me come over to his house 3 days a week. And he would sit down and show me how to light a scene, how to work a camera, how to do the audio recorder, how do you edit? Let's go up there. How do you do pre-production? How do you do sound? How do you record the sound? Like, he just put me through the ringer in 6 months. And got real hands-on, work with it every day. I aced every test because I was the only guy in the class. And after 6 months, he was like, all right, man, you officially have all the knowledge that you could get from a film school. The only difference is you don't have a piece of paper that says it.
Why is America so obsessed with Bigfoot and Sasquatch, and where's that come from, do you think?
That's actually a question that I've never gotten before. And I think this is because this is the first British pot. Is it British or is it English? How do y'all?
Yeah,
British, English.
Yeah,
I want to make sure I'm cool here. This is my first one of those.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of think people kind of see whatever it is that they need in myths and legends. Like we as humans, we tend to meld everything to our psyche to fit in whatever box we need it to fit in. And I don't know, there's just something about Bigfoot, like that mystery, that question, like, is it real? Is it not real? If it is real, how come we haven't gotten any definite, proof yet in 2024? Maybe it's because he just really don't want to be around us. But it's a tough question to answer, because because I go to a lot of Bigfoot festivals, I see both sides of people that like absolutely do not believe that Bigfoot is real, could never be real. And at the same time, I have a lot of friends in that community that like are die-hard believers. And if you question that Bigfoot's not real, well, you're the idiot. And, it's very strange, man.
Yes, it is, but it's very popular. And then I guess my question is, when you decided, right, that's the feature film I'm going to make, were you thinking commercially? Were you thinking, oh, Pete, there's going to be an audience for this? Or were you just thinking, I love Bigfoot,
Yeah,
I'm going to do what I'm doing?
honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, whenever we made Bogman, we weren't really 100% sure that anybody was even going to see it. Like, it was,
wow.
Open Heart Productions is the film company, the production company that I started. And like I told you, there's not a whole lot of opportunity in the northeast corner of Louisiana for filmmaking. There's a lot in New Orleans. There's a lot over in Shreveport, but nothing in our corner. And I spent 2006 to 2019 trying my best. Like, I had this hope that somebody above me was going to reach down and give me a hand and pull me up.
Yeah.
And then I learned the hard way in life that that's not the way it goes. And so I started looking around me, and I was like, well, who else? What's around me? Who is around me that feels the same way that I feel? Like, who around me has the same passion, that have the same dreams, but just like me were born here and stuck here. And so we call ourselves the Island of Misfit Toys, because I went out and I built relationships with absolutely anybody and everybody that I could that even wanted to do film. Like, here's another thing. Every single person in Open Heart Productions, and we're about 35 deep, solid crew, and working at all times. And not one of us went to film school. Not a one of us. And so this was just like a hobby for us that we were just very passionate about. I've been a big fan of Bigfoot since junior high, like most Americans, I guess, now that that's a thing. But here's the thing. At the time, like, the Bigfoot stuff wasn't like blowing up like it is now. It was a weird thing that I noticed that, like, whenever we did Bogman, we wasn't thinking about the culture. We weren't thinking about, anything like that. This was just a topic that we thought would be entertaining. And so, and would be fun to make a monster movie out in the woods, and then, like, once we made it, and then it caught, which that's a whole story in itself. Cause like I said, we didn't think this was going to happen, but whenever it did, it was just like everywhere we looked, all of a sudden there was Bigfoot everywhere. It's like, when did Bigfoot become the Beatles?
Yeah, no, it certainly has. It certainly has. It is everywhere. So then tell me about, how did the deal with Green Apple Entertainment come up? And if you don't mind giving me details on that, because I'm sure other micro budget filmmakers would want to know, how is that structured for you guys?
It's a wild ride, first of all, because everything that we're doing, we're learning on the fly. It's it's akin to a very slow moving magic carpet ride. We finished the movie and we watched it, and, like, we were all just very happy with it. We were very proud of it. We're like, man, dude, like, this could have been so much worse. Like, especially the stimulus and the fact that we only spent $5,000 to make this. It was like, this could have been bad, and it's watchable. Like, and one of our crew members, a guy named Damon Adcock, he actually came to me and said, hey, man, I've actually got this ace in the hole I've had in my back pocket that I've actually kind of been waiting for whenever I finished my film to use it. But this movie's got something, and it's entertaining, and it's fun, and it doesn't take itself seriously, so it allows you to enjoy the ride. And I think that I'm going to use this card for this movie. And I'm like, well, what is it? He's like, man, this is a guy over in California. He's an executive producer in a studio. He didn't tell me who it was or anything like that. Like, the studio, he just gave me his name. And he's like, email this guy, send him the movie, tell him that I sent you, and tell him that Damon wants to call in his favor. And so I did that. He watched the movie and he said, I can see why Damon did that. Here's my guy, that's my agent that does all my movie sales. Here's his email. Tell him that I sent you. I'll confirm it if he wants to email me, and we're going to get this movie picked up by somebody. And so we did that. And Leaf was our agent with Focus First International. And he went out and found us 6 different offers from 6 different distributors. And we sat down painstakingly and met all of them, video chat, kind of like this. And I noticed that once you get in that situation and you're talking to the distributors and you're talking to people over and over and over, they all start to kind of sound the same. Like, all the things that they're saying are all the same, which is all basically boils down to, we'll give it our best shot. We can submit it to this, and this, and this. but it's up to them if they accept it, and then it's up to y'all to promote it and this, that, and the other. And it just kind of seemed like we were just going to be another number and just kind of thrown into the machine. But then the writer's strike and the actor strike happened, and that really worked in our favor. Whenever you're a hungry nobody, that you're not a part of a union and you own all your own shit, well, you become way more appealing to way more wider casting distributors, which is why Green Apple was interested in us. And out of everybody that we spoke to, Green Apple was the only company that sounded excited that to be a part of it. Like, they were excited about the movie. Yeah, they said the same stuff that everybody else said, but there was a pep, and they were like, "No, man, like, we believe in this one. Like, this ain't like one of those things that, like, oh, if something happens, if the right people see this, it'll spread like wildfire. We believe that, and we're trying to build franchises here at our company. And if you got any more of these, if you got any sequel ideas, anything that y'all want to do, let us know." And so we immediately submitted our sequel idea, because we did have a sequel like this. The Bogman wasn't just going to be our one and done. Like, we had planned on, like, oh, we'll do a sequel in 4 or 5 years down the road, like, we'll save up some money and, like, we'll blow it out, and then it became, all right, Bogman's done. It's released on all the platforms. You have a year to give us another one. So it was like, oh, okay. So we went out, and Green Apple wasn't in a spot where they could, even though they can in the future fund our films, they couldn't at the time, because they had spent so much of their money on purchasing all these titles. They had to get all these titles out and promoted and all this, that, and the other. So that pretty much wiped out their creative budget until 2025. And they let me know that. They were like, listen, if y'all can get us some more movies between now and then, we will help y'all out in the future, but we just can't right now. And we had no business trying to do Sea of Madness, like that movie, with that script, with the budget that we had. But we shouldn't have been able to do Bogman either. So we were just like, fuck it, let's play Russian roulette, spin the chamber, boys. All that'll happen is we'll end up in debt.
So the deal you have with Green Apple, have you seen money from that yet, or is that going to be coming? Have you seen any? How long has it been out? What's the sort of
it? From what the way it goes, and I've had this confirmed with me by the agent and a couple of other filmmakers and stuff to see if this is really how it goes. The movie was released back in October. And we were told by them and other people that it usually takes about 2 or 3 quarters of views with the ad companies before they get their generated reports and the money gets in stuff. So they said that, actually the 15th of this month is whenever we're supposed to be receiving our first 3-quarter checks from.
Oh, okay.
It's like it'll be.
And have you seen any? Yeah, have you seen you've seen reports on how? Because what I'm interested in is, because it seems to be on a few platforms. Is, have you got an idea of which platform it's done better on?
I do know that on YouTube, between the 2 or 3 channels that it's on, because Green Apple licensed it to 2 others in their own, it's over 100,000 views on YouTube alone, and I think Tubi is somewhere around another 50,000. Wow. Amazon Prime is like another 10-15,000, and the Falsum app, it's like another, like, between 10 and 20,000. So like we're knocking on the door of 200,000 plus views of the movie since October, which is definitely not something that I expected, but I'm very, very happy for, and honored by.
Yeah. And just last one on the money, because I know this is the thing people will tune in for. They'll be like, well, he's made this film, he's got a shit ton of views. Is he making any money? Have you got any idea what that might translate into? cash wise, or are you just waiting to find out?
Well, I will say this: I've done independent research, and any filmmaker out there, y'all can do y'all's own independent research. Don't just take my word for it, because you shouldn't be taking anybody's word for anything. You should be going out and figuring out your own shit to begin with. But if you want to take it from me and not take any other, consideration, the stuff that I looked up with the ads that are playing, because we get paid off of ads. From the ads that are playing in the movie, it translates to about $1.50 per view. And so if that's the case, then I am very much looking forward to this check coming on the 15th.
I'll have to check back in with you, because that'll be a good day when you get that check. So did you do much promoting yourself for this, or did it just kind of just take off? Were you promoting the film yourself?
Oh, yeah. None of us ever sleep. Like, none of us ever have personal lives. It's just this all the time. Yeah. And so we do a lot of grassroots promoting ourselves. We go to Bigfoot festivals a lot around the South and in Texas and Oklahoma and Arkansas and stuff like that. We've done a couple of film festivals. We got a nice honorable mention for Los Angeles Indie Film Festival for Bogman last year.
Nice.
We placed third in the overall Louisiana homegrown film at the Calcasieu Film Festival. And I think we got also a runner-up at the Scream Queen Film Festival, which that one was super cool because I got to meet Donald Farmer through that. And I don't know if you know who that is, but he is a legendary American indie horror filmmaker that got his start out on the special effects team for Evil Dead 2 back in the day. And
that's pretty epic.
And he's actually where I met. He hooked us up with Jessa Flux, one of our mermaid actresses, for the Sea of Madness film. And he's just been a big supporter of us. And another big one, and this to me was like a childhood dream, because growing up in Louisiana, we had this video rental store called Action Video. And every Friday, my mom would pick me and my sister up from school. We'd get a pizza at the local pizza joint. We'd stop by the video place and we'd rent a movie and go home and watch it. And the only two Bigfoot movies that they had at that store was Harry and the Hendersons and The Legend of Boggy Creek. Did you hear that? You know that movie?
I haven't seen The Legend of Boggy Creek, no.
It beat Star Wars the first week that it was out.
Did it?
It did. It was the original OG Bigfoot documentary monster movie from 72, I believe. And through one of the Bigfoot film festivals that we did, I got to meet Keith Crabtree, who played the Bigfoot in that movie. And then me and him became friends. Like he calls me once a month, like, "Hey, Mitch, what are you doing? Saw the Bigfoot again in the backyard. Me and my wife got a picture of him. Here, I'm about to send it to you." And he believes in Bigfoot with all of his heart, and I love it. And it's like being a fan of Batman and then being friends with Michael Keaton, later in life.
That's pretty cool.
And he came and he did, we're working on the third movie right now, and he actually came and did a cameo in it for us. And we did it at the cabin from The Legend of Boggy Creek, because he made us come out there.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. And so looking at these films you're making now, because you've got a bunch of films planned, are you sticking to the same budget? Are you like, right, we're going to keep it to this amount? Or is it, like most sequels in Hollywood, they just spend more money and more money and more money? Are you just sticking to the same sort of budget level?
Really, it just, whatever comes our way. If we can get more money, absolutely. More money is always welcomed. But, with Sea of Madness, the sequel, we filmed on the USS Kidd in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the legendary battleship from World War II. Tom Hanks filmed The Greyhound on it back in 2021. And just to get that boat for the 7 days we needed it was $18,000 just to rent it And that's not like, and we're, you know, we're still small fry, you know, like we're still paying everybody $50 a day, including me, the director, you know, like that's where we're at in life, but that's fine because it's more than what we were getting paid to do it. We would have done it for free anyway. So getting $50 is like, hey, you know, cool. We go eat. But we had to find the money for that. And I didn't have any luck with anybody in town, any business people, lawyers, anybody. Nobody wanted to help. Even though we had a movie that was released, I could, hey, go to Tubi right now. You can watch it. We're on Amazon Prime. Like, you know, whatever. Like, this isn't, I kept telling them, like, a lot of times whenever you invest in movies, the big question is how is this going to be seen by people? How is it going to make money? Well, we have all those questions answered. It's like, it's not a risk. And we still couldn't get anybody to fall in. So I was going to call up all of my crew one at a time and tell them, hey guys, we were supposed to start filming in 4 months. We need money now. We don't have it. We got to postpone this thing indefinitely until we find something out. And after like the first 5 or 6 people that I called, nobody answered. So I thought, like, are they ducking me? Like, but the 6th guy answered, and I told him, he's like, oh man, that sucks. Well, how much do you need, man? How much were you looking for? I'm like, dude, the bare minimum just to pull it the fuck off. You know, like I need $35K bare minimum. 50, we could be slightly comfortable, but you know, just to crash the landing, 35. He's like, I got that. I'll cover it.
Wow.
Excuse me? What do you mean you got that? You'll cover it. You're going to have to explain that to me. You're not going to just leave me with that. And he's like, oh man, I worked in the oil field before I did this. I have a nest egg. I was doing this because I wanted to learn how to do this. And y'all guys are serious and y'all are making results. So if y'all include me in on the back end, you know, hell yeah, whatever you need, you're funded. I'm like, all right, guys, we got this. So we ended up spending 50 all in all between him and another guy, another producer that came in that, you know, he had a family member pass and he threw in another 15 off of that and got us up to that. And even then there was still a lot of problems. And like, even like, so we're also like working like 16, 17-hour days on the boat. Cause once you left the boat, we couldn't come back. There was no reshoots. It's, you film until you drop, and as soon as you wake back up after a 4-hour nap, get back in the makeup chair, we're about to do it again, baby, you know. And there was a lot of stuff like food and showers, all stuff went bye-bye after a while, and we had to get creative, and I maxed out a credit card to make sure that we kept going, and it was the most miserable fun that I've ever had in my entire life.
The most miserable fun. I love that. That is a good expression for filmmaking. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you'd like to hear from more industry professionals, how they got into the business and how you can do the same, or you just want to listen to some cool stories from movie sets around the world, then please do subscribe to the Honest Filmmaker podcast.